everyone, I'm Farm Assistant Jenna Lee from the Wisconsin Farm Report out in Lodi, Wisconsin for the Thank a Farmer campaign brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance and Bassner Pest Control. Today I'm at Marda Angus Farms talking to Terry Quam, one of the owners and operators of this Angus farm. So can you give a little bit of history on how this cattle farm came to be?
In 1942, my grandfather bought the first Angus cattle and Hereford cattle at the time for his son and daughter to become 4-H projects, and that's how the Angus got to this farm in 1942.
And from that time, how have you expanded?
Well, we've gone from, traditional at that time. This was, they had brown Swiss here and some Guernseys, and they went away when the black cattle came, and the Herefords didn't last, the Angus did, and from there we've grown from a small herd of 20 to 30 head, and my grandfather feeding 100, 150 steers a year to where we're at about 200 Angus cows now.
Along with cattle, you also do crop farming. Can you explain a little bit about that side of your agriculture as well?
We do just about everything that we can do in crops. We do corn, we do sweet corn, we do peas, we do sometimes wheat. We're not doing wheat at the present time because of the price dips. We raise oats because we use quite a bit of oats in our calf rations here on the farm. We raise alfalfa hay, alfalfa grass hay, straight grass hay. We sell hay. We do just about everything in the crop situation. The one thing that we've learned over the years is to be sustainable in agriculture, you got to have a little bit of everything. For us, the crops and the cattle go hand in hand. We can use a lot of products in these grain crops that we can use into the cattle operation, help cheapen up their diets, use it for bedding, what have you. The cattle and the grain just make a great combination.
Great, and something big within the cattle industry is grazing. Do you do that at all?
Yeah, we have about 700 acres of pasture that we graze on, either rented or owned.
The name of your cattle farm is a little interesting. Can you explain a little bit about that background?
The name for this farm here came from my mother and father, Marge and Dave. They combined the first two letters or the first three in my mom, and the last two are first two of my dad's, and became Marda, and that's how the farm name came about.
Great. You talked about having Angus cattle. Now that seems to be kind of the gold standard in the cattle industry these days. So what makes it kind of that gold standard and that top quality beef?
Angus have been lucky to be genetically made to marble extremely well. Have a gene in them to make tenderness and marbling a great thing. If you look back in 1978 when the health crisis came on and meat was bad for the consumer and the heart people were on us and the doctors were on us, and a lot of breeds decided to go the other way, get rid of the marbling in the meat, get all anti-fat. And we knew as a breed, and we had some very good founding members of the Angus breed that says no, beef is healthy for you in moderation, in good serving size. Beef is great for you. It has many essential vitamins, minerals, and what have protein in it. And we're going to hold our guns. We're going to promote Angus beef as what it is, the highest quality beef you can get on the market. And in 1978, certified Angus beef was born by the American Angus Association. And that is the start of what created the Angus phase, you might say, in the meat world.
You can definitely tell you have a lot of passion for what you do. But what do you enjoy most about being a cattle farmer in Wisconsin?
Well, we have a lot of benefits. Here on this farm, we raise about 50 bulls a year. We have a production sale in the fall, last week of October. We sell into 13 to 20 states, depending on the year. 90% of our bulls are marketed out of state, either in a sale in Montana or a sale in Nebraska. But what we have looked to relocate this cow herd to one of those two states, Nebraska or Montana, several times. But there are so many benefits to byproducts, whether it be from the canning industry and sweet corn silage or peat byproducts, or whether it be the ethanol industry here in Wisconsin, or just the sheer amount of forage that gets produced on highly, what you would call, slopey lands. And the fact that our pastures all our pastures are land that cannot be tilled, cannot be cropped, that we're turning valuable grass into pounds of beef. It's just economically a very, very good state to raise that mother cow in.
What would you really want consumers to know more about the cattle industry and cattle farmers within Wisconsin?
I think they have to realize this is a very tough business. It's a low input or high input, low return business. We don't get rich out here. I hear so many comments about farmers and their big tractors and their trucks and what have you. And what they have to realize, we're dealing with economic prices now that we got 30 years ago, and we're dealing with the input costs of today, which are greatly 200 to 250% higher than they were 30 years ago. So what we've done is we've become more efficient. Our cattle have become genetically better. We've been able to produce more pounds with less feed, less water, less energy, and we've become more efficient. So that's what they have to realize is looks are always deceiving. Just because we may be sitting in a tractor, I remember the very first tractor I bought when I started farming with my parents back in 1978, brand new tractor cost me $22,000. Today, that same tractor is going to cost me $200,000. A little difference. It's harder to pay for the one today than it did back then. So they have to understand that we're doing the best job we can. And the one thing that every cattle producer that I know has is an extreme passion for the care of animals. They wouldn't be in this business making what profits we do in this industry if they didn't have a love of just being around animals, their passion to take care of them, watch them grow, and see them go on to the next phase of the industry and watch those consumers. There's nothing happier than when a cattle producer goes to a restaurant or goes to a function and sees them eating your product and seeing the smiles on the faces. That's what makes the day.
And where can people go to get a little bit more information about your Angus farm?
Go to our website, mardaangusfarm.com.
Thank you so much. That's Terry Quam from Marda Angus Farms in Lodi, Wisconsin. I'm Farm Assistant Jenna Lee from the Thank a Farmer campaign, brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance and Bassner Pest Control. And remember, if you ate today, thank a farmer.